Good morning. This is Kate Maika Anahaw together with my co-reporters Miss Balyadeng, Miss Bonilla, Miss Briguera, Miss Celosa, and Miss Gabisan. This is the Disney Princess News Program. For our first headline story, it will be all about the need for clear annual objectives. Annual objectives are desired milestones an organization needs to achieve to ensure successful strategy implementation. Annual objectives are essential for strategy implementation for 5 primary reasons. First, they represent the basis for allocating resources. When you have clear annual objectives, it becomes easier to determine where resources such as funding, personnel, and time should be directed. For example, if one of the objectives is to increase market share in a particular region, resources might be allocated towards marketing campaigns, sales teams, or product development specific to that region. Number 2. They are a primary mechanism for evaluating managers. Annual objectives provide a framework for evaluating the performance of managers and teams within the organization. Managers can be assessed based on how well they achieve the objectives they were assigned. This evaluation helps in identifying areas of strength and areas needing improvement, and it also provides insights into a managerial effectiveness. Number 3. They enable effective monitoring of progress toward achieving long-term objectives. Annual objectives enable ongoing monitoring of progress towards achieving long-term goals. By breaking down long-term goals into smaller, measurable objectives, organizations can track their progress throughout the year. This monitoring allows for timely adjustments and interventions if objectives are not being met, ensuring that the organization stays on course towards its overarching goals. Number 4. They establish organizational, divisional, and departmental priorities. Annual objectives help in establishing priorities at various levels of the organization, including organizational, divisional, and departmental levels. By setting specific objectives for each division or department, organizations can ensure that efforts are aligned with broader strategic goals while also catering to the unique needs and challenges of different parts of the organization. Number 5. They are essential for keeping a strategic plan on track. Annual objectives serve as a roadmap for keeping the strategic plan on track. They provide a means of translating high-level strategic initiatives into actionable steps that can be implemented and monitored on a yearly basis. Without clear annual objectives, it becomes easy for organizations to lose sight of their long-term vision and become unfocused in their day-to-day operations. Clearly stated and communicated objectives are critical to success in all types and sizes of firms. Annual objectives, stated in terms of profitability, growth, and market share by business segment, geographic area, customer groups, and product are common in organizations. That would be all for the first report. For our next reporter, Ms. Celosa will be discussing about the need for clear policies. Ms. Celosa?
Thank you so much, Miss Anahaw. And again, my name is Ivy Angela Sabasa, and I am your reporter for our hot topic. And our hot topic is the need for clear policies. Policies refer to the specific guidelines, methods, procedures, rules, forms, and administrative practices established to support and encourage work towards stated goals. Changes in a firm's strategic direction do not occur automatically. On a day-to-day basis, policies are needed to make a strategy work. Policies facilitate solving recurring problems and guide the implementation of strategy. Policies are essential instruments for strategy implementation, and there are 6 reasons for that. The first one is policies set boundaries, constraints, and limits on the kinds of administrative actions that can be taken to reward a sanctioned behavior. Number two, policies let both employees and managers know what it is expected of them, thereby increasing the likelihood that strategies will be implemented successfully. Number three, policies provide a basis for management control and allow coordination across the organizational units. Number four, policies reduce the amount of the time managers spend making decisions. Policies also clarifying what work is to be done and by whom. And number five, policies promote delegation of decision making to appropriate managerial levels where various problems usually arise. And lastly, policies clarify what can and cannot be done in pursuit of an organization's objectives. Uh-oh, I know you're excited about our hot topics, but let's just pause for a minute and let's hear the other news from our next reporter, Miss Brigera. Miss Brigera?
I am Acer Mary B. Briguera. Thank you, Ms. Silosa. Now let's have the resource allocation news topic. Resource allocation is the fundamental management process that efficiently utilizes limited resources to achieve organizational goals. It is a strategic tool that enables organizations to optimize operations, make informed decisions, and drive sustainable growth and success. Allocating resources is a vital strategy implementation activity. It plays a crucial role in determining the success and sustainability of a business or project. Here are some of the examples of resource allocation. Financial resource allocation allows businesses to develop and execute business goals. Financial resource allocation is vital in developing, implementing, and managing the business strategy. Financial resource allocation is crucial towards refining the organizational mission, vision, and business values. The human resource allocation. Here in human resource allocation, when a software development company is working on multiple projects, they allocate their human resources by assigning programmers, designers, and testers to different projects based on their skills, expertise, and project requirements. They ensure each project team has the workforce to meet deadlines and deliver high-quality software solutions. Next is the material resource allocation. Here in material resource, when a construction company has limited equipment such as excavators, cranes, and trucks, they allocate these resources by analyzing project schedules, equipment requirements, and availability. They assign the equipment to different constructions based on project priorities, ensuring optimal utilization and avoiding delays caused by equipment shortages.
And lastly, the technological resources. Technological resources tend to be the first to be considered in today's world because they allow more than ever before in history to carry out tasks in new ways. It is about the contributions of technology to the other productive fields of human being, making it possible or easier and faster to achieve a goal. Two different types of technological resources. First is the tangible technological resources. When it comes to tools, pieces of machinery, concrete, physical elements that we can apply to a specific task. Second is the intangible technological resources. It is about incorporeal, abstract elements such as computer programs or the internet. It fulfills important tasks in areas such as communication, production, regulation, or transportation. It can make work or learning tasks much more efficient and even entertaining. As has frequently happened in recent decades, it can even completely transform the concept of work and learning by shattering preconceptions and creating doors to completely unexpected possibilities.
May I call on Ms. Anahaw to report the next news topic?
Thank you. Now let's head straight to the report about managing conflict. Conflict can be defined as a disagreement between two or more parties on one or more issues. Establishing annual objectives can lead to conflict because individuals have different expectations, perceptions, schedules, pressures, obligations, and personalities. Various approaches for managing and resolving conflict can be classified into three categories: avoidance, diffusion, and confrontation. First is avoidance. Avoidance includes such actions as ignoring the problem in hopes that the conflict will resolve itself or physically separating the conflicting individuals or groups. A common form of conflict avoidance is to deny there is an issue at all. As an example, two colleagues might disagree regarding an approach to a particular problem. Both feel passionately about their solution, and yet, rather than insisting they explore the pros and cons of each avenue, one party simply backs down and refuses to assert themselves. They might have a legitimate argument, so refraining from honest discussion does nothing for the company in terms of productivity and progress. Next is diffusion. It can include playing down differences between conflicting parties while accentuating similarities and common interests. This strategy involves emphasizing shared goals or values between conflicting parties while minimizing or downplaying their differences. For example, in a negotiation between two rival companies competing for a contract, a mediator might highlight their mutual interest in delivering high-quality products to customers rather than focusing on their competitive advantages. Next is compromising so that there is neither a clear winner nor loser. For instance, in a labor dispute between workers and management over wages, both sides might agree to a compromise wage increase that falls between the initial demands of each party. Next is resorting to majority rule. For example, in a board meeting where directors are divided over a strategic decision, they might vote on the options and the ones with the most votes is adopted. Also, by appealing to a higher authority or even redesigning present positions. For the discussion of confrontation, Ms. Balyadeng will further give us the details. Ms. Balyadeng?
Thank you so much for that, Kate. Now let's discuss confrontation. Confrontation is exemplified by exchanging members of conflicting parties so that each can gain an appreciation of the other's point of view, or holding a meeting at which conflicting parties present their views and work through their differences. One of the examples of confrontation is addressing a colleague who consistently fails to meet deadlines or complete assigned tasks, or discussing how their behavior affects team dynamics with a co-worker. Here are the steps how to manage conflict at work. First, embrace your peers. Tackling problems peer-to-peer breeds respect, trust, and a calmer space where solutions can more easily be fostered. If the problem can be tackled before getting senior staff involved, do it. Second, define the problem clearly. Before entering any confrontation, clearly set out what it is you want to achieve from the discussion. What was the circumstance that led to this? Clarify the problem to be tackled in your mind in a calm, concise, and clear-headed way. Next, choose neutral ground. You've probably been in this position. You are summoned to an office or boardroom for a private chat. While you walk toward that meeting, were you carefree and relaxed, or were you pent up with worry? The setting of confrontations matter in how each person approaches them. Where possible, avoid formal sit-downs in favor of a coffee in a neutral yet private space. When each person feels as comfortable as the other, there is less opportunity for fearful emotional response. Also, we have always choose empathy. Putting yourself in the shoes of the person you're confronting is always a key to a peaceful resolution, and is the core of keeping emotional intelligence in mind. Always be sure to truly hear any justifications and mitigating circumstances that the other party may offer, and consider them deeply when formulating your plan for moving forward from the confrontation. Last, the resolution. A resolution must always be the goal in any attempt to tackle conflict. Instead of simply hashing out problems, which may continue to arise in the future, the key to a great resolution is one which suits both parties and has a clearly achievable journey. Unmanaged or poorly managed conflict in the workplace leads to reduced teamwork, cooperation, productivity, and quality, as well as diminished employee commitment and morale. However, good conflict management skills can prevent these results. Successfully managed conflict can have a healthy, positive effect on your team and your organization. Well-managed conflict is an effective way to bring important issues to light and to open and strengthen the lines of communication and creativity with your team, boss, and even customers.
Now, let's proceed with matching structure with strategy. Changes in strategy often require changes in the way an organization is structured for two major reasons. First, structure largely dictates how objectives and policies will be established. For example, objectives and policies established under a geographic organizational structure are couched in geographic terms. Objectives and policies are stated largely in terms of products in an organization whose structure is based on product groups. The structural format for developing objectives and policies can significantly impact all other strategy implementation objectives. The second major reason why changes in strategy often require changes in structure is that structure dictates how resources will be allocated.
If an organization structure is based on customer groups, then resources will be allocated in that manner. Similarly, if an organization structure is set up along functional business lines, then resources are allocated by functional areas. Unless new or revised strategies place emphasis in the same areas as old strategies, structural reorientation commonly becomes a part of strategy implementation. Alfred Chandler promoted the notion that changes in strategy lead to changes in organizational structure. Structure should be designed to facilitate the strategic pursuit of a firm and therefore follow strategy. Without a strategy or reasons for being or mission, companies find it difficult to design an effective structure. When a firm changes its strategy, the existing organizational structure may become ineffective. Symptoms of an ineffective organizational structure include too many levels of management, too many meetings attended by too many people, too much attention being directed toward solving interdepartmental conflicts, too large a span of control, and too many unachieved objectives. Changes in structure can facilitate strategy implementation efforts. Structure undeniably can and does influence strategy. Strategies formulated must be workable, so if a certain new strategy requires massive structural changes, it might not be an attractive choice. In this way, structure can shape the choice of strategies. But a more important concern is determining what types of structural changes are needed to implement new strategies and how these changes can be accomplished.
And now may I call on our next reporter, Miss Princess Bonilla.
Bonilla, bringing you the latest update about the types of organizational structure. Organizational structure is the backbone of all organizational procedures and workflows in any company. It determines the place and rules of each employee in the business.
Businesses of all categories, shapes, and sizes use organizational structure for their growth. There is a specific hierarchy within the organizations. Eminent organizational structures define each employee's job and how it fits within the entire system. Not having a proper organizational structures can create difficulties for certain organizations. In this type of situations, employees may face difficulties while reporting. Having a great structures in organizations can provide clarity for everyone at every level. The first type of organizational structures is a hierarchical structure. It is a structure that contains a direct chain of command from the top of the organization to the bottom. The hierarchical structure has the following advantages. The first advantage is control orientation. Having these structures help employees understand the various levels of leadership. This is because of management rules are clearly defined in this pyramid structure. The second advantage is having a clear career and promotion path. There is a clear career path through this type of organization, with employees gradually advising through the various levels of management over a number of years. The third advantage is having a clear defined authority. Companies with a hierarchical structure have different levels of authority and power. This means employees will have a direct supervisor they can report to. This is the flow of communication and ensure employees know from whom their directions and working order are coming. And now let's discuss the disadvantages of hierarchical structure. The first disadvantages of these structures is having a poor communications. Dividing employees in different departments and levels can lead to the lack of communication. This is because there are so many supervisors you'll need to get in contact with rather than one sole executive. The second disadvantage is slow decision making. The hierarchical system takes time for management decisions to particularly done to the various level of management. If a company operates in swiftly changing environment, this can mean that the business is slow to react to competitive and environmental pressure. The third disadvantage is added cost. The system requires a considerable amount of corporate overhead to support the senior management, including extra layers of management and control department. This can be an excessive burden on corporates when the bureaucracy is especially bloated. The second type of organizational structure is a functional structure. A functional organizational structure is a business structure that groups employees by specialty, skills, and related rules. It is based on the levels of hierarchy that includes different departments under the directions of designated leaders. Businesses commonly operate under a functional structure because it groups of people who similar knowledge, and when used in a team environment, it helps company achieve their goals. The functional organizational structures work best for the largest companies that employ multiple people with similar roles. Smaller companies, they may not be enough employees with related skills to justify grouping them into the separate department. The first advantage in functional structures is increased productivity. People in functional structure setting have a special skill allowed to work more quickly and efficiently than those who may be unfamiliar with a specific subject, which lead to greater productivity. The second advantage is skills development. Companies following a functional organizational structures have multiple departments composed of a small team. Within each team, experienced managers have the chance to teach their team members the same skills they possess, resulting in an enhanced skill set for all people. The third advantage is having a clarity. Companies bring people of the same specialty together. It creates an environment of clarity. Anytime someone within the company needs high-level information related to the marketing, human resources, customer service, or operations, they know where to go. The fourth advantage in functional structures is minimize cost of operations. By organizing employees according to the business function, department can reduce the chance for multiple departments to complete similar work. Giving tasks to individuals with right skills also save money because work gets performed more efficiently. And now let's discuss the disadvantages for having a functional structures. The first disadvantages of functional structures is hindered decisions making. For companies that thrive on greater flexibility and creativity, the functional organization structures may impact their ability to operate efficiently when management is unavailable for the feedbacks during the time-sensitive project. it may hinder the team overall progress. The second disadvantages of having a functional structures is competitions between departments. As employees within each department work together, they begin to operate as a team with a focus on achieving specific goals. This goal-oriented mindset, while typically positive, may prompt competitions between departments. The last disadvantage for having a functional structures is narrow scope. Without extra guidance information from managers, employees within a department may work with limited knowledge of how the rules relate to the company's objective. They may also not understand how their works relate to other departments. The third type of organizational structures is divisional structure. A divisional organizational structure is a system in which companies segment its employees based on the product, market, or territories as opposed to their jobs role. Divisional organizational structures is one of the smartest organizational structures ever. In this structure, an organization is separated into the subdivision, and each division has control over their own resources and operations. This structure is specially designed for large companies. Some example of divisional structures is geographic divisional, market-based divisional, and the product-based divisional. For the geographic divisional organization structures, the divisions are separated by the districts, territories, and regions. It offering more effective localizations and logistics. Companies might set up satellite offices around the country in order to stay close and connected to their customers. The second is market-based divisional organizational structures. In this structure, the divisions are separated by industry, market, and consumer type. The market-based structure is ideal for the organization that has products or services that are incomparable to specific markets. These structures also keep the business constantly conscious of the demand changes among the different audience segments. And the last is product-based divisional organizational structure. In a product-based divisional organizational structure, each division within the organization is dedicated to the particular product. Divisions are separated by the product line. For example, a tech might have a division dedicated to its cloud offering, while the rest of the divisions focus on different software offerings, such as Adobe and each creative suite of Illustrator, Photoshop. Like the hierarchical and functional organizational structures, the divisional structures also have the advantages and disadvantages. The first advantage of divisional structures is accountability and transparency. Because divisions have their own management group to lead them, it's easier to hold individuals accountable for their own actions. You can track which action lead to which result and assign responsibility according to each division's work in their own best interest, which also means there is more transparency in who deserves credit for positive outcome. For the second is gain local competitive advantage. A divisional structures can bring company competitive advantage in local markets by giving managers the autonomy to make business decisions within their scope. They can quickly change directions and respond to localized changes. The third advantage is improved company culture. Using divisional organizations may improve company culture by allowing for unique perspectives at different levels. Senior managers may also feel more capable for more than expected behavior when they're setting an example for a small group. And the last advantage is increased operating efficiency. Companies that want to increase their market shares through more product options or greater geographic availability may find it more efficient to use divisional structures that can accommodate expansion. And for the disadvantages of divisional structure, the first is it costs more to operate. While your overall revenue may eventually benefit from the divisional structure, there are also high operating costs unlike a functional organizational structure. You also likely need to centralize corporate divisions to oversee the company, which can lead to higher overhead costs. The second disadvantage is the economies of scale. The economies of scale are the cost saving when an organization produces goods or services in a large quantity. The divisional structures prevents organizations from getting the most out of economies of scale, as a single division does not produce enough to take great benefits out of the economies of scale. The third disadvantage is encouraged rivalries. Separate divisions may feel encouraged to treat each other as a competitive rivals instead of the part of the same company. Having independent goals can lead to increased office politics and management group attempting to gain advantage. And for the last disadvantages is foster silo mentality. Divisions often develop their own strategic focus and agenda which may cause resistance to change, reluctance to collaborate, or a silo mentality. The silo mentality may make employees feel more isolated, both physically and psychologically, and instill a sense of exclusivity within them.
That's all for the 3 types of organizational structures, and the remaining is getting reported by Ms. Silosa.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bonilla, for that informative report. And now let's proceed to our hot topics. And now we will be discussing the Strategic Business Unit or SBU structure and the matrix structure. The first hot topic is the Strategic Business Unit or SBU structure. As the number, size, and diversity of divisions in an organization increase, controlling and evaluating divisional operation become increasingly difficult for strategists. Increase in sales are often or not accompanied by similar increase in profitability. The span of control becomes too large at top levels of the firm. For example, in a large conglomerate organization composed of 90 divisions, such as ConAgra, the chief executive officer could have difficulty even remembering the first names of the divisional presidents. In multi-divisional organizations, an SBU structure can greatly facilitate strategy implementation efforts. ConAgra has put its many divisions into 2 primary SBUs. The first one is the consumer foods, and the second one is the private brands and the commercial foods. To further understand, here's another visualization. The structure of SBU consists of operating units, wherein the units serve as an autonomous business. The top corporate officer assigns the responsibility of the business to the managers for the regular operations and business unit strategies. So, the corporate officer is accountable for the formulation and implementation of the comprehensive strategy and administers the SBU by way of strategic and financial controls. So, in this way, the structure combines related divisions of business into the strategic business unit, and the senior executive is empowered for taking decisions for each unit. The senior executive works under the supervision of a chief executive officer. And that's how the strategic business unit or SBU structure works. Our next hot topic is the matrix structure. A matrix structure is the most complex of all designs because it depends on both vertical and horizontal flows of authority and communication, hence the term matrix. In contrast, functional and divisional structures depend primarily on vertical flows of authority and communication. So, a matrix structure can result in higher overhead because it creates more management positions. Other disadvantages of matrix structure that contribute to overall complexity include dual lines of budget authority or a violation of the unity of command principle, dual sources of reward and punishment, shared authority, and even a need for an extensive and effective communication system. A matrix organization is a company structure where teams report to multiple leaders. The matrix design keeps open communication between teams and can help companies create more innovative products and services. Using this structure prevents teams from needing to realign every time a new project begins. And there are 3 types of matrix management. The first one is weak matrix, the second one is balance matrix, and the third one is the strong matrix. So let's just proceed from the first hot topic for the three types of matrix management, which is the weak matrix. So, in the weak matrix, the team lead has limited authority over the project. In a weak matrix, the project manager has the least amount of decision making power compared to the other matrix management types. When the project manager has limited authority over the project, the matrix becomes weak because the project budget and timeline is in the hands on the department head. Creating a communication plan can keep communication from getting lost in a weak matrix. The second hot topic for this matrix management is the balance matrix. The team for the balance matrix or the team lead and leadership have equal authority. In balance matrix, the department head and the product or the project manager have equal authority and team members report to both of them. This keeps communication open between everyone in leadership roles and allows the project to move forward smoothly. And the other one or the last one for the matrix management type is the strong matrix. The team lead has the most authority over the project. In strong matrix, the project manager has most of decision-making power over the project, while the department head has more limited authority. This creates a strong organizational structure because the product or the project manager has full ownership over the project. The department head can oversee the project but doesn't make key decisions. So, to conclude, matrix organizations have two or more reporting structures. While this may seem confusing at first, team members typically have a primary manager for their department. And also, reporting to a department manager functions similarly to a traditional work structures. And yeah, that's all for our hot topics for this report. And now let's proceed to hear some of the new news report of our next reporter, which is Miss Baladeng. Miss Baladeng?
Thank you, Ms. Ivy. Now, let's move forward with strategic production or operation issues. Production processes typically constitute more than 70% of a firm's total assets. Thus, a major part of the strategy implementation process takes place at the production site. Strategic production-related decisions on plant size, plant location, product design, choice of equipment, kind of tooling can determine the success or failure of strategy implementation efforts. We have 4 productions or operations issues, but we will be discussing first restructuring and re-engineering. Now, let's move forward with restructuring. What is restructuring? Restructuring is an action taken by a company to significantly modify the financial and operational aspects of the company, usually when the business is facing financial pressures. Restructuring is a type of corporate action taken that involves significantly modifying the debt, operations, or structure of a company as a way of limiting financial harm and improving the business. When a company restructures internally, the operations, processes, departments, or ownership may change, enabling the business to become more integrated and successful. Financial and legal advisors are often hired for negotiating restructuring plans. Parts of the company may be sold to investors, and a new chief executive officer may be hired to help implement the changes. The results may include alterations in procedures, computer systems, networks, locations, and legal issues. Because positions may overlap, jobs may be eliminated and employees laid off. A company undertakes a restructuring to modify the financial or operational aspect of its business, usually when faced with a financial crisis. Restructuring can be a painful process as the internal and external structure of a company is adjusted and jobs are cut. But once it is completed, restructuring should result in smoother, more economically sound business operations. After employees adjust to the new environment, the company can be in a better position for achieving its goals through greater efficiency in production. However, not all corporate restructurings end well. Sometimes a company may need to admit defeat and begin selling or liquidating assets to pay off its creditors before permanently closing. One of the examples of restructuring is in late March 2019, Savers Incorporated, the largest for-profit thrift store chain in the United States, reached a restructuring agreement that cut its debt load by 40% and saw it taken over by Ares Management Corporation and Crescent Capital Group. The out-of-court restructuring, which was approved by the company's board of directors, includes refinancing $700 million first-line loan and lowering the retailer's interest cost. Under the deal, the company's existing term loan holders get paid in full, while senior note holders swap their debt for equity. These are some of the potential benefits of restructuring. First, levels business with competitors. Through restructuring, companies have the opportunity to improve their finances. Because of this, companies can level themselves with industry competitors and ensure they maintain a strong business entity. Second, enhances communication. When restructuring organizational components or business operations, company leaders can potentially enhance communication between departments or company branch locations. This influences the way departments work toward company goals and collaborate with one another. Last, provide opportunities for business growth. Through restructuring organizational component or financial activities, companies can grow and expand operations to different locations or product markets.
Business process reengineering allows organizations to identify the resources needed to reach these goals and optimize the utilization of assets and personnel. It helps establish clearly defined goals, enabling the business to understand what it hopes to achieve through cloud adoption. So what is business process reengineering? It is a radical redesign of business processes to achieve dramatic improvements in critical aspects like quality, output, cost, service, and speed. Business process reengineering aims at cutting down enterprise costs on a very huge scale.
To keep business process reengineering fair, transparent, and efficient, stakeholders need to get a better understanding of the key steps involved in it. Although the process can differ from one organization to another, these steps summarizes the process. Here are the 5 business process reengineering steps. First, map the current state of your business processes. Gather data from all resources, both software, tools, and stakeholders. Understand how the process is performing currently. Second, analyze them and find any process gaps or disconnects. Identify all the errors and delays that hold up a free flow of the process. Make sure if all details are available in the respective steps for the stakeholders to make a quick decision. Third one, look for improvement opportunities and validate them. Check if all the steps are absolutely necessary. If a step is there to solely inform the person, remove the step and add an automated email trigger. Next, design a cutting-edge future state process map. Create a new process that solves all the problems you have identified. Don't be afraid to design a totally new process that is sure to work well. Designate KPIs for every step of the process. Last one, implement future state changes and be mindful of dependencies. Inform every stakeholders of the new process. Only proceed after everyone is on board and educated about how the new process works. Constantly monitor the KPIs.
One of the most famous historical examples of business process engineering is from Ford Motor Company. In the 1980s, the automotive industry was in a slump. Ford knew that several of their departments were bloated and could use trimming. Accounts payable, in particular, was 5 times the size they felt it should be compared to their competitors. So they analyzed every part of the process, following invoices, purchase orders, and payments from beginning to end. They realized most of their employee time was spent fixing mismatches between invoices and purchase orders. In response, Ford implemented invoiceless payments. They cut out middlemen entirely and used a database to ensure that purchase orders were correct. Instead of matching 14 date items, accounts payable now only had to match 3. This business process reengineering initiative achieved a 75% reduction in headcount and cost savings.
That's all for my report, and now I'm passing the floor to our next reporter, Ms. Akisa Gabisan.
Thank you, Ms. Balateng, and good day everyone. My name is Akisa Gabisan. Here are the top stories for today.
Manage resistance to change. Resistance to change. 3 strategies for overcoming resistance to change. 10 habits to follow for a better work-life balance. Use caution in monitoring employees' social media and develop a corporate wellness program.
Manage resistance to change. No organization or individual can escape change. However, the prospect of change triggers concern as people worry about potential economic setbacks, disruptions, uncertainties, and a break in normal social patterns.
The strategic management process brings significant changes to individuals and processes, making organizational reorientation towards strategic thinking a challenging task. Implementing strategies may threaten managers and employees, leading to anticipated shifts in power dynamics and potential resistance. The values, beliefs, and priorities of a new formal and informal groups remain unclear, requiring careful consideration during strategy formulation and diligent management during implementation to navigate disruptions in social and political structures. Resistance to change. A significant barrier to a successful implementation of a strategy is resistance to change. It usually shows up as machine sabotage, absenteeism, unfounded complaints, and a resistance to collaboration within the workplace. A common fundamental cause of the change is a lack of knowledge or awareness of the underlying causes. It becomes essential to provide accurate information in order to overcome this resistance. Managers are essential in creating an environment within the company where change is viewed as an opportunity to improve competitiveness rather than a threat to jobs. Anytime during the process of implementing a strategy, resistance may surface. We do have 3 commonly used strategies to change. First is a forced change strategy, which involves giving orders and enforcing those orders. This strategy has the advantage of being fast, but it is plagued by low commitment and high resistance. The second strategy is the educative change strategy, which is one that presents information to convince people of the need for change. The disadvantage of an educative change strategy is that implementation becomes slow and difficult. However, this type of strategy evokes greater commitment and less resistance than does the forced change strategy. Lastly is the rational change strategy or self-interest change strategy. Is one that attempts to convince individuals that the change is to their personal advantage. That's all for managed resistance to change. The next topic would be discussed by Ms. Vanilla.
Okay, let's have the 7 strategic human resources issue.
Here are the 6 human resource issues. First is linking performance and pay to strategy, balancing work life with home life, developing a diverse workforce, create a strategy supportive, use caution in monitoring employees' social media, and develop a corporate wellness program. Linking performance and pay to strategy is a method used by organizations to align employee compensation with a company's strategic objectives. This approach is based on the principles that employees should be rewarded based on their contribution to achieving the organization's goals. In this approach, the company set specific performance targets that are aligned with its strategic objectives. The employees are then evaluated based on their ability to meet this target, and this compensation is directly tied to their performance. For example, if a company's strategic objective is to increase sales, it may set performance target for its sales team based on the numbers of sales made or the amount of the revenue generated. The sales team's compensation would then be tied to their ability to meet this target. If they exceed the target, they may receive a higher bonus or commission, while if they fall short, they receive a lower bonus or commission. By linking performance and pay to a strategy, organization can motivate employees to work towards the company's goal and improve their overall performance. It also helps to ensure that compensation is tied to value creation, which is critical for long-term organization success. Organizations that prioritize work-life balance create an environment where employees can effectively manage their work responsibilities while also having time for their personal lives, leading to reduced stress and improved mental well-being. The best practices for balancing work and home life is setting a realistic schedule, focusing on well-being, learning to say no, taking breaks, and creating a work-from-home routine. Prioritizing health, communicating with managers, and engaging in activities outside of the work further contribute to the better work-life balance. Addressing this strategic human resource issue can positively impact both work-life and home-life balance by creating a supportive, exclusive, and purposeful work environment, allowing employees to effectively manage their responsibilities while having time for personal and family activities.
Thank you, Ms. Vanilla. So now, let's hear what are the 10 easy habits to follow for a better life-work balance.
As we live in such a fast-paced environment, many of us tend to cross the boundaries of work and home life with 24/7 access to email. It is easy to get carried away and do work chores at all hours of the day and night. However, burning the candle at both ends could have a disastrous effect on your health. So, to help you find a better work-life balance, we will walk you through 10 easy habits that you can adopt to improve your personal and work life. Number 1. Identify your goals. First step you need to do is to identify your own goals. For example, if you want to start your own business while working a full-time job, you're going to need to dedicate a lot of your free time to your startup. Before you adopt any new lifestyle habits, think about your priorities and then plan how you will achieve it. Number 2. Do work that you love. When you are engaged in a job you truly love, it doesn't seem like work. Instead, it feels like a rewarding hobby for which you receive compensation. So if you experience a sense of dread, like fear, alarm, panic, or terror before leaving for work or starting your day, it is advisable to reconsider your career path and seek something that brings you lasting happiness throughout your professional journey. Number 3. Stop putting so much pressure on yourself. Many of us struggle to achieve a work-life balance due to we put too much pressure on ourselves. Do you pack too many home chores into your evening routine? Are you striving to the perfect parent or child, student, and employee? If you find yourself nodding in agreement, you need to start being kinder to yourself. Number 4. Plan in advance. Effective planning serves as the key to achieving an ideal work-life balance. To maximize your daily productivity, It is essential to allocate time for exercise, spending time with friends and family, and engaging in enjoyable hobbies. By planning in advance, you'll be sure not to neglect one of the most important factors in your life. Number 5. Create a calendar. Create a calendar whether it is written or electronic form. By writing down your tasks and plans, you'll have a better overview of your day and allowing you to rearrange activities and carve out essential downtime for yourself. Number 6. Stick to set working hours. With so many people around the world working from home, adhering to established working hours can be challenging. However, this remains a crucial guideline for those striving for a healthy work-life balance. By following specific working hours, you will be able to separate work from personal chores and will be able to focus. Number 7. Learn and listen. Given the limited free hours available in a day, finding time for additional learning to enhance your skills can be challenging. However, podcasts and audiobooks offer a solution, allowing you to make the most of your time by listening to inspirational content during your commute or while completing household chores. Number 8. Adopt a healthier lifestyle. To boost your energy levels and optimize your daily performance, incorporating a healthier lifestyle is essential. Prioritizing habits like waking up early, eating nutritional foods, drinking enough water, and getting enough sleep is a vital part of achieving an excellent work-life balance. So while you're striving to achieve career success, beware not to neglect your health. Number 9. Delegate tasks. We often overload ourselves with tasks because it is easier for us to complete them rather than let others take over. Yet, if your responsibilities are becoming overwhelming, it is the right moment to ask assistance. Whether it's small tasks at work or household chores, don't hesitate to ask for some assistance and delegate tasks that are challenging to manage alone. Number 10. Take time off. If you are a workaholic just like me, you'll probably be scared to step away from your devices and take some time off in case anything goes wrong in your absence. But you need time to rest too. Planned time off will help you relax, recharge your batteries, and be more productive on your return. Consider scheduling a holiday even if it's just a few days to unwind at home. Achieving a good work-life balance is simple when you learn to let go a little and be more organized.
As we live in a global world that is massively interconnected, more diverse companies tend to have a better performance. A diverse workforce brings together individuals with different backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives. Companies with diverse workforce often outperform other companies. A study found that gender diverse and inclusive teams outperform their less inclusive counterparts by 50%. Companies with more diverse leadership teams report higher innovation revenue of 45%. It is an important asset since it acknowledges the individual strength of each employee and the potential they bring. Valuing the differences of others is what ultimately brings us all together and can be the secret to a successful, thriving workplace and a fair work culture.
Create a strategy supportive. Building a supportive company culture that genuinely makes a team feel safe and valued is one of the biggest challenges facing the workforce today. Having a supportive company culture is more than just the words embedded into a company's mission statement. Everyone on the team needs to not only see the vision, but also be moved by it in order to work towards the company's goals. Employees must feel valued and recognized in their work efforts to be able to continuously contribute to the objectives. To create a supportive company culture, the organizations must practice workplace empathy. Having empathy in the workplace means you can identify someone else's feelings and practice compassion during the good times and the bad. Empathy is becoming an essential soft skill in leadership positions. It's about the connections to build and the safety to create. If the employees feel cared for, they are likely to reciprocate with loyalty and motivation to get their job done. Next, to encourage regular honest feedback. Employees want to be heard. They want to know that their feedback matters. And it's important enough that action will be taken. Without a proper cycle of feedback, the company may not know what's not working or what needs to be changed in order to foster an employee's growth. Next is to build trust. According to the Harvard Business Review, employees at companies that are considered high trust report 74% less stress, 50% higher productivity, and 40% less burnout. Therefore, trust in the workplace matters. If the team trusts each other, the collaboration will be easier, work will get done quicker, and respect among peers will be higher. An unsupportive company culture usually has most people on the team feeling burned out, anxious, or even depressed about their situation. Therefore, having a supportive company culture is essential, and when it is implemented properly, it will benefit the business.
Thank you, Ms. Vergara. So now, let's talk about monitoring employee social media and corporate wellness program.
Use caution in monitoring employees' social media. Companies legally monitor employees' social media activities, citing the need to protect their reputation from disgruntled employees and the potential use of social media records as evidence. Proponents argue that monitoring is essential for understanding employees' communication related to various aspects of business, including clients, patients, suppliers, and internal processes. Develop a corporate wellness program. Corporate wellness is a critical concern for companies driven by the financial impact of health insurance costs. With the Affordable Care Act allowing increased incentives and penalties, corporate wellness programs offering both rewards and penalties have become widespread. Employers aim to promote a healthy workforce to mitigate the higher premiums associated with an unhealthy employee base.
That wraps up tonight's edition of Disney Princess News Program. Thank you for joining us. Remember, you can catch up on any stories you missed on our website. And again, my name is Akisa Gubisan. That's all for today. Goodbye.